Welcome to this mysterious room, where all the candles are red. Just yesterday, there was a comedy of errors with an unexpected guest, followed by Poirot and Hastings stumbling upon some deliberately smashed coffee cups on the floor. And there's a pile of coffee grounds that looks like the battlefield of a coffee cup defense. Clearly someone was so intent on covering something up that they went all out. Poirot was like a meticulous encyclopedia, searching the room and tidying mantelpieces, showcasing his OCD. But precisely at the moment when he intended to make a graceful departure, he unexpectedly noticed traces of a small fire in the fireplace. Could it be that someone was attempting to burn the evidence? When Poirot fished out a not yet fully burned piece of paper from the ashes, he was stunned to discover it was a torn piece of a surprising twist indeed. Now Poirot was convinced that Sarah's death was definitely linked to this will. He had to find the culprit who wouldn't want to clear their name. He first approached the seasoned maid, like a detective checking for a green dress in the old lady's closet. After receiving a no, Poirot cleverly switched topics to ask if the old lady had any heated discussions with someone before the maid's face was filled with caution, clearly indicating she didn't want to get involved in any trouble. Yet Poirot keenly perceived her hesitation. Apparently, she had overheard the sound of the argument. She had eavesdropped while the old lady blamed someone for their messy love life until things were quiet enough to sneak in. But when she walked in, she found only Sarah, looking worse for wear, clutching a document. She was muttering about how scandalous marital affairs can be, saying, "Men are never to be trusted." Poirot quickly caught onto a critical clue. He asked if that was the burned will. Did the maid know where the crucial document was? The maid replied that the old lady kept all her important documents in a purple filing box, and Poirot's ears perked right up. They ran back to the bedroom, only to pull off the key, respecting personal property privacy. If they found any clues about the culprit without a lawyer present, it wouldn't count in court. Poirot was calculating in his head. However, when he returned to the bedroom with a hired lawyer, he was shocked to see the filing box wide open. To make matters worse, the door to the adoptive daughter's room was also unlocked, indicating someone had clearly dropped by. While Poirot had no idea what had gone missing from the filing box, he knew that getting it opened early might have locked in the suspect's identity. With tension mounting, Poirot's OCD flared up, rearranging the mantelpieces. Doctors declared that the old lady passed due to an overdose of drugs, and regarding where the poison was, the ruined coffee cups could provide no evidence. The most likely carrier was the coffee that night, but the latent toxicity left everyone scratching their heads. Other family members testified one after another, but couldn't pinpoint the true culprit, so the judge even called a key witness. The local pharmacy owner testified that shortly before Sarah was killed, someone had purchased drugs from him, claiming it was to poison wild dogs too suspicious. And there was Big Beard, with his signature on the purchase record. What a coincidence. Faced with such clear evidence, Big Beard remained calm, insisting the pharmacy owner had mistaken him for someone else and that had never bought those drugs. His signature was forged, and he denied arguing with the old lady, claiming he wasn't at the estate. But when asked where he was, he clammed up. Isn't that odd? He could easily provide an alibi and yet chose to stay silent. After leaving the courtroom, Poirot met the familiar police inspector. Big Beard was labelled the primary suspect. The police were ready to arrest him ASAP. Poirot wanted to urge them to hold off since the old lady's will content remained unknown. The inspector completely ignored his advice and brushed it aside. When they stormed to the estate, Poirot brought up an undeniable alibi that left them speechless. Not only raised doubts, but gave Inspector full witness list and contact info. Clever. At this moment, the case seemed stuck, and the only certainty was that Big Beard had been caught in the station. But it was clear he was purposely hiding his whereabouts, concealing dark secrets, and the old lady's funeral would be held soon after. After the funeral, the maid found Poirot, informing him about a box up in the attic. Perhaps it held some clues. The green dress could be in that box, but Poirot and Hastings searched it high and low and found nothing but dust. Ultimately, they stumbled upon a set of meticulously made fake mustaches. Unbelievable. Hastings tried them curiously, and Poirot's eyes lit up, clearly disguised as Big Beard. The two rushed back to the estate to share this revelation, only to stumble upon the maid at the doorstep. She informed them that young Master John had been accused of murdering his mother and was taken away by the police, so they weren't sitting idly after all. Turns out the police found John close with a young widow in town, funding her heavily scandal. The prosecution argued that John had hoped his mother would leave him the estate, but was blindsided by an unexpected twist. He had been the one arguing with her in the bedroom that fateful day. In fact, this was true. Thus, the prosecution theorized that John conspired with his mistress to poison his mother and destroy the will. As for that fake mustache, it was likely John disguised as Big Beard heading to the pharmacy to buy poison to cover his tracks. It seemed like a complete evidence chain, but Poirot felt annoyed and uneasy, as many critical details just didn't add up. To keep his mind clear, he focused on indulging in his game of design, which was his usual thinking method. Hastings was baffled by the method, yet deeply impressed. Maybe Poirot was onto something. If you enjoyed this story, remember to like and subscribe, so we can uncover more mysteries together.